Hello, everyone. My name is Noble Julz, and welcome to Community Conversations. I will be your host, and today we are here with Carolyn Young, the professor at
Instructor
at Isothermal Community College in Rutherford County, North Carolina. So, today's conversation is going to be about the current state of film and broadcasting and the future state of it. So, Carolyn, would you mind telling our audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm old, but I started in this industry in 1988. So I'm thinking I've probably been working way longer than most of the people in this room have been alive, which makes me super duper sad. But I started out in radio and quickly learned, no offense to any radio people, but there's no money in radio. So I ended up in television. I fell in love with I love TV, and I know that I'm not supposed to say that, but I do. I love television. I love sitcoms. I love the process of TV, and I love everything about it. So I worked in television, kind of worked my way up, moved around a lot. And in 2004, I was at WTAE TV in Pittsburgh as a commercial production director. And it turned out that a job came available here in Spindale. And so I moved down here in 2004, and I have been teaching TV since 2004.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. But you said something very interesting I want to touch on in this conversation. Sitcoms. Right? Yeah. So I grew up in the era of sitcoms, and I used to love watching them and then having to wait the 30-second for a commercial.
Yep.
Or watching the season and actually have to wait until the next season, which was over the summertime, and then all of the characters have grown up years and it was just always staged. And now I realize how staged it was, especially being on this side of film and production. But my question to you is with your love of it, how much has changed and what do you miss about sitcoms?
So one of the jobs that I had throughout my years was creating shows. And it used to be that when I started creating shows, for every half an hour, you needed 24 minutes of content. When I left, for every half an hour, you needed 21 minutes of content, which just goes to show you how much the content of the show shrunk. And when I worked in news, we used to laugh and say that news was really just the small breaks between all the commercials.
Right.
But so obviously now with streaming,
right,
I think that's where sometimes these sitcoms just don't hold up. Right. Because it just feels like with streaming you can have much more intense storylines because it's not broken up the way it was. And it felt like sitcoms of yesteryear, when they were broken up by all those commercials, it seems like they had to be kind of easily digestible. And so I'm right now, I love binge watching, but I'm rewatching Mike and Molly. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but I've rewatched Frasier. Frasier really, oh man, goodness. That really held up. I rewatched The Office like twice now. Some of those episodes really stand up. The show that I was super disappointed that I feel like did not stand up that I loved when it was on was Seinfeld.
I was going to ask about Seinfeld. It doesn't stand up now with the
I just don't feel it. And I think we have grown as a society to be a lot more aware of the sexism and I just feel like some of these shows they say now, you're like, whoa.
Like, why was I
don't think you should say that.
And it was a lot of dry humor in Seinfeld back then. So I have not gone back to look at it, but I get it. Yeah. I get it. Wow. Okay.
Oh, Bernie Mac, the Bernie Mac show. That has held up. I loved that show.
Well, so what I realized, as a writer, the cues for comedy match with the commercials. So like the beats, like using different type of metrics of
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah. When he would take that break, it felt like it was a natural part of the show. Yeah. Because when you binge watch it, you don't see that.
You don't see that.
Yeah. But it held up for me as a show to binge watch.
A lot of them, some of the shows I watched that hold up, Martin, and that's what I realized.
I've forgotten about Martin. Yeah.
Like the comedy shows, it's almost like they started to weave it out. if you watch it, like the earlier ones, like from the 80s to the 90s, like you started to weave out, and even they started to get longer shows. So I really feel like if you look at TV, you can kind of see how they weaved us into this streaming world, especially like reality TV. Yeah. Like reality TV, I feel like it was a setup.
Yeah.
Because now everybody is on YouTube and all these streaming, and they're producing their own reality TV. Even without a production company, IG and different social medias, like people are posting like they're living on a reality TV show.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the future of TV. Now, before this broadcast, we started to hit on our favorite conversation nowadays, AI. So with AI, what do you feel this rocket ship of TV and broadcasting is going?
Well, AI has been a huge conversation even at the college, because it's not just disrupting our industry, it's disrupting everyone's industry. But it's funny, I was in a meeting the other day, and one of the guys who's really a proponent of AI said, y'all need to quit belly aching about AI, because AI has been here forever. When you use spell check, guess what that is? AI. When we use these cameras, where back when I was using a camera, you had to dial in the filter to dial out the light color. But now AI is built in, and it's going to figure out what that light color is. So we've had AI as an assistant for a really long time. Where it's going, I don't think anyone knows. And that is something that gave me I think I told you that I heard an interview the other day, and the guy was saying, you don't know where AI is going. So all these predictors of AI is going to take away all these jobs and stuff. Maybe that's not actually going to happen, because he was saying that he's finding that AI is way more manipulative than anyone ever expected, and way more hallucinating. My husband's blind, and he got himself a pair of meta glasses because we thought that would help him be able to play cards and things. And those meta glasses, they just make crap up on a normal basis. And the number of posts out there that say, hey, if you're blind, do not use meta glasses to navigate, because it's going to walk you out into traffic. It's going to tell you that the light's green when it's red. So I think that maybe a lot of people put their eggs in this basket of AI and thinking that it's going to be everything.
Right.
But I'm not sure it is.
Right. Like, will it be able to really capture the human experience? I think it could recreate it, especially if it's building off of old information.
But can you depend on it?
No.
I mean, that's what a lot of people are finding now is that what they've promised, you just can't depend on, because
we depend on a lot of human beings.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, the element of surprise and spontaneity. I'm getting my words right. Like, it still has to be there. I really feel like as an assistant, as an aid, AI has a great place.
Yeah.
Or like we were saying earlier, like a different perspective. Like, to give you, but there's a sense of like, even with sitcom, with a good show, with a good production, like, you still need that creative ability that can only come from human beings.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think, though, like we talked about AI disrupting, AI was disrupting our industry 15 years ago, because when I started in broadcasting, you had to have one person for each job. And when I left Pittsburgh, they had just gotten robotic cameras. And that, because it was a union station, they still had people in the studio. But that was the beginning of the disruption. And, we're talking right now, we don't have any camera operators in the studio.
Right.
They're PTZs, and the camera operator can run all the cameras from one location. So then that means that you become not just the camera operator, not just the director, not just the producer, not just the writer, not just the person who's going to do all the setting up and all the tearing. You become all that. You're the host. You're
host. You're
the
everything.
whole thing. And that's right now. That's where I think broadcasting and film has been going for a long time, and it's going to continue to go that way.
That's true. And some people may see like downside. I like to see the upside in that, because no matter how much you do by yourself, you're always going to need people. You're going to need connection.
Right. And it takes a long time to do all of it. I mean, obviously you're hosting. You can't be running the cameras and
the same time.
switching the show. So you needed 2 other people to do that. And the when I was in broadcasting, the opportunities for people to see my work, I was lucky. I worked for a television station because that was it. There were 3, maybe 5 stations that you could get your work seen on because there was no internet. There was no streaming. So today, with all these outlets of places for people to see your work, I mean, I think that's something that you can look at as positive. There's way more need and ability for audio video people.
That brings me to the next question, because we are at Isothermal Community College. And so what my audience doesn't know is that even though I've done film in Atlanta for, was it 2013 and 14, and I've have several productions under my belt, I'm actually enrolled back into school, because even though I know film, I don't know broadcasting. And to really enhance and to build my career, I decided to come back and become a student again. And, this is why I met everyone, and I love this opportunity so much. It's waking me up. And so when I'm thinking about a career other than independent, like a job, like what kind of hope, or speak to, rather, more direct question, people who will be enrolling in Isothermal or going to college or community college, and what kind of hope they have in finding careers or jobs. And
Well, so as far as the audio video production opportunities in Rutherford County, there really aren't any.
yeah,
I mean, unless you're willing to do gig work, you're probably not going to work in the county as a full-time audio video professional. But the opportunities outside of the county, we have a student who is an AV tech for Eli Lilly, and he's making a good amount of money. He's in Charlotte. We have students who live in LA who are working I say student, graduates.
Nice.
Who's working for HBO. We have another graduate who moved to Chicago and worked on the Judge Mathis show and ended up winning an Emmy. And now
Really?
he's got his own production company up in Chicago. So, the good thing about this career, at least as far as I'm concerned, is there are so many outlets. If you're a writer, there's an outlet for you. But if you're a technical person, there's an outlet for you. There's just so many different ways you can go with this career. But it is a gig economy, and so a lot of times these students are going to be getting freelance jobs. You're going to get part-time jobs. The Equestrian Center employs a lot of our graduates, which kind of makes me sad since it's seasonal work. But we funny you should ask, because we're trying to look towards the future. And one of the things that I'm trying to convince the powers that be to do is to add an engineering degree into this, a broadcast engineering. And I've looked at a couple. There are none in North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
But an engineer is something that someone can make $50, $60, $70 an hour doing, because there is a shortage of them. And the National Association of Broadcasters has actually said the number of engineers who are retiring now, there's not enough people to replace them. So we're looking at doing a little add-on to this to get people prepped to do broadcast engineering, which would be a little bit of electric classes, a little bit of engineering classes, and a little bit of networking classes.
Sign me up for that one. That's promising. And so my experience I do live in Rutherford County. I was actually born here, but I was raised in New Jersey and lived in Atlanta. So I have a different kind of viewpoint, because I love the peace and quiet of Rutherford County. And so as a writer, it opens up my creativity, the beautiful views and everything. I'm also not afraid, or I'm not shy of, rather, driving an hour and a half to go to work, especially something that I love. So that's Charlotte, that's Greensboro, that's Asheville, that's Greenville. Like, Rutherford County sits in the middle of all of that. That's even Fayetteville. And it actually, an hour and a half in a circular, you can hit a major city.
Yeah.
So that, and then Rutherford County, because of Tryon and because of other things, is growing. So the gig work is actually a good thing here.
Yeah, well, and I just read an article about a film company who just opened up in upstate South Carolina.
Wow.
who's going to do films. Hello, crew.
Hello, crew. So, I mean, not saying everybody should come and run and move here because, you know, we like the people that's here. You're welcome to come, but, you know, we like the space and everything. However,
And the lack of traffic.
traffic.
Yes.
But look at the publicity that's coming. Lake Lure, now people know about Lake Lure, know
Yeah,
about Chimney
yeah.
Rock because of what happened with Haleen.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of opportunity for people to come here and learn at the community college and then take their business elsewhere.
Right.
Like,
or open. I mean, I do think you're right. This is, you know, they started a member of the Rutherford Film Commission, and they're trying to grow this area as a destination for filmmakers, which it is true. You've got such a vast landscape to choose from, and there's so many older homes and businesses. There's just a lot of opportunities to shoot here for a filmmaker.
yeah. So I don't know how much more time we have, but I think this is a great opportunity to cue in what films have been created here in Rutherford County. Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
What is it?
Firestarter.
Firestarter. The Last of the, what is it called? Oh,
Last
my
of the
goodness.
Mohicans.
The Last of the Mohicans. Like, so we have some really good films
Yeah.
that are here, and broadcasting, like you just stated, like there's broadcasting companies all around that's looking, and as long as you're willing to travel, you have an opportunity here.
Yeah. I mean, we do have some grads working for some of the television stations. I just find that not many students are looking to go into news. And I will say that I am concerned about the future of these broadcast television stations because the ratings just keep shrinking. And so I think the future is definitely in streaming.
Yeah, absolutely, because you could take this skill set, you could stream, and you could develop your own news
Yeah. Yeah.
and tell a different story.
Yep. I agree. And I also have to say one other thing is that I always think this is a good add-on, even if you're not going to get a major, for anyone who owns their own business. Because, you know, if you know how to do this stuff, you can promote yourself in a variety of different ways. And to be able to stream and not have to pay a crazy amount of money to these companies that are just using the freeware of OBS to get you
Right,
online
right.
is it's a good thing.
Right. And or you can always contact Carol Young, and she can introduce you to some amazing students that know how to do it to get some gig work.
That's true too. Yeah, I totally.
I mean, we're
agree with
right
that.
here. All right. I'm just going to ask the crew, do we have a time check? Or we still got time to go? 13 minutes. We could find something to talk about for 13 minutes.
Wait, we've got 13 minutes to go.
You want 30
Yeah,
minutes?
I did. Oh, 13 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. So, so I will tell you, you know, to get back to how things have changed in this curriculum. So when I first came here, you know, we had live camera operators. We had someone who would switch. We had someone who would direct. We had someone who would run tapes because we were still editing on videotape. And you want to talk about how good y'all have it is that when you were editing on videotape, you had to start at the beginning. And if you screwed up that first shot, you had to start all over again. So
Like you had to refilm the whole thing?
well, you had to
Or
re-edit the
re-edit
whole thing.
the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. And if you wanted to do any kind of dissolves or anything, you had to put those on separate tapes and then dissolve into it. It was linear editing instead of non-linear editing was quite the challenge. And when I started in broadcasting, you know, I'm not a large person, and I've always been kind of wimpy. And when I started out at WHIZ TV, Whiz TV in beautiful Zanesville, Ohio. It was market 201 at that point. There were, I think, 204 markets. And I had to use what's called an ITC tripod. There's one up there. But they're about,
The big
I don't know.
ones.
Yeah, they're about 30 pounds. I had a camera, and the camera didn't have a built-in deck. It had a deck that you wore on your shoulder because we were recording on 3/4 inch. So I would have to balance the tripod and the camera exactly so that I wouldn't fall over. And if someone would have come and pushed me, I would have just fallen back and been on my back like a turtle.
Whoa.
But in that market, we had a lot of novice video people. And one of those video people, what's that? Were you giving me some sort of hand signal? We had the number of photogs that would put the camera on top of the news car, load in everything, and then drive away, and the camera would hit the ground.
Hit the ground. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no strap down, nothing. Just oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That reminds me of I wonder how many people remember the cell phone when it was when you had to have the briefcase.
Oh yeah.
And I remember a
That
car
was a
phone.
bag phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we have them to fit right in your pocket. Like, technology is really changing so much.
Yeah.
However, I don't know whether it's my hope or, my blind gratitude. I have no idea. But I just really know that it's all going to come together. And even though, yes, I'm looking at cameras right now that are robotic and there are no bodies behind it, there's always room. There's always going to find a way for the people to need, and like even the stories, like how we tell the stories. Like me writing a story or sitcom based only on my imagination versus lived experience and going to a place and having that experience, that's two different stories. Mm-hmm. And so, or it's a way for us to expand the stories that we can, like, how many more times can we recreate Spider-Man? Right. Like the same story. Like, we can move on. Like, he can finally kiss the girl or something. Like, I think he finally kissed her. I don't know. But anyway, like, it's the repetitive story. But like having streaming, we can actually communicate and change the world, I think. Like we're now learning about different countries and what they're experiencing versus the gossip of it. Mm-hmm. And so just through streaming through YouTube or on, with the cell phone. So if we can actually take these cameras to those places and give people another experience with it, I think that just opened it up.
Well, and you said something about how your optimism or whatever about this career. And my dad always used to say that cream will always rise to the top. Because even when I got into this career way back when, my first job after going to a 4-year school, an expensive 4-year school out of state, my first job was minimum wage. And my dad had a fit. And I was like, Dad, you don't understand. In this career field, you're just going to constantly move, and you will make more money, and you will make more money, and you will make more money as you move through it. But the one thing, I had a lot of friends who got into teaching and business, but I have loved this career field and still do. And that there's something to be said about loving what you do.
Yes.
Because you spend way too much time at work to not really have a passion for what you do.
Absolutely.
And I think if the passion is there, the money and the jobs will come.
You're preaching to the choir, like they say. I, as an adult, I have to have a 9 to 5. And my 9 to 5 is overnight. However, I work 10 hours overnight, and I am leaving that job, coming to school, because the passion is there. Now, I am, my partner drives, so I'm in the car sleeping. 30 minutes between work and school. But as soon as I get here and these cameras and everything, something in me comes alive. I get excited. Like, it's the combination of the audio, the visual, the creativity, the people, everything. It's just, it just does something to me.
Well, I also think one of our graduates said that when you get into this career field, and I would say this is probably a little bit like being an artist too, is that you leave a little piece of you behind. Like it's a way to influence people. And when you create something, you have an idea, and then it's the final piece, like that's your baby. You've done that, and people are going to see that, and they're going to have a emotional reaction to that. And it's just, it's really, as someone who doesn't have kids, it's a way to leave a little piece of yourself out there.
Right. I'm glad you said that, because a conversation you and I had at the beginning of the semester was how healing this is. Because now this is my story. To see my work go from paper to film did something to me I didn't know was going to happen. and it brought up emotions I didn't even know I had. And I actually ran from it. So first I was challenged to write a movie, and I did it in 2 weeks, right? And the read through, the cast members loved it, but the person I was writing with, my partner, she hated it, and so she was like, "Do it over." So I did another week, and I did an edit, and I wrote it. She was like, "All right, good." So number one, that pushed me. That pushed me to actually write a full page, 95-page, full feature film. So now I had a friend of mine who was a teacher, and she volunteered to film it for me. It's like, oh, no problem. It was in Atlanta, had a bunch of hungry people. So it was like, oh, we were all excited about it, and like, let's do it. About a weekend, she gets hired for a job, and she cannot film. So, but I was on set learning with her because she's a teacher. She showed me how to frame. She showed me, every like the different terminologies and everything. So I thought I was doing something. So she was like, "All right, you can take it." I said, "All I need is a tripod." And because I put the money down for the film production, that was 6 months. 3 months out. I had put that money down for the theater already. So I was like, I'm not going to lose that investment. So I'm going to finish this film. Then my sound person didn't show up. Then the boom, they have a picture of me with the camera, the boom mic over my shoulder, and I'm like directing like all at the same time. And that went up. The film was amazing. However, one step, I was so ambitious. I was immature. They told me to come to the theater to test out the film before the week of. But because we were editing and we were promoting and we were getting into clubs and all this stuff like that, I did not communicate that with my team. And we brought the film to the theater that was sold out. Oh. We had a DJ there. We had food. We had the top promoter of Atlanta there. And the film did not play. So the money we made, we had to then reinvest it to the second day and ended up not making that money. However, I hired a business person. They took it on tour for 9 states, and everyone loved it. But now this other person is representing a movie that I ran from because it didn't play. I was embarrassed. I felt like a failure. I spent the summer over here while my movie was over there. And I have people from different states, promoters, calling me like, "Why aren't you here? Why aren't you here?" And I'm like, I gave it up. I went running. And the film, it brought up all of the childhood, I'm not going to get into it, but a lot of childhood, you're not good enough type of feelings and everything that I didn't even know was so much there. And film and your creation out, like the world does not promote us to express ourselves. The world promotes us to basically do what you're told and be a robot. And so when you are in this field and you're expressing yourself, you second guess. And like, is it good enough? Are you sure? Oh, no. And everyone loved it. Loved it to the point one of my cast members thought that I was making money off of it. I made $65 off of it the entire time. They took it.
But wait, did you break even? Like 60, you weren't?
No, not at all. Not at all. I broke even because I did it. I made $65. This other business person, they were merchandising it, they filmed it. But granted, I didn't pay them, and they were spending their own money to promote it.
But they made money.
They made money.
Oh, okay.
And one day I was like, I need some money. And she said, I got $65. I said, I'll take it. And that's how I made $65. Like, I called her because you making money off my movie. Yep. Right? So the actress, she took it and she put it up on YouTube. This is when YouTube, I didn't even understand YouTube. My movie has 286,000 views. No promotions, no anything. Then that was another mistake. I put it up on someone else's page. So that person has been receiving a check.
Yeah.
But to this day, that person and who I was with, they have recreated some of the films that we have. And she says that my movie is still the #1 views on her channel and the most requested to be redone. And so I'm like, okay, I'm in a whole new place, whole new space. I actually have it has a cliffhanger, and everyone's like, what happened? To this day, it's like 10 years. No, 2013? I was 13 years old. And they're like, what happened? So if I redo it, then I could do the sequel. Everything's written. I just haven't done it. So I was like, okay, let me go to film. And I came to film because my cousin out here, I didn't even know he was my cousin. And he's like, can you come with me to go film a church? And it was Wayne. And Wayne
Wait,
told me.
Wayne's your cousin?
Wayne's my cousin. And I have my mom's face. And I was.
You know, he's my cousin too.
Yes, yes. I was in a restaurant here, and I moved here to take care of my dad. I was born here, and I was in. He said he called my mom's name because I had my mom's face, and I said yeah. He was like, oh, you're in the film. Come with me to the set. And when I got on set, the magic clicked, and he was like, you have to meet Carol. You have to meet. Oh, please, you have to. And I lost his number. And I have enrolled here, and I've been coming here and everything. And my mom was like, I got his number, but she's on a cruise. She's like, we're all theater and film. My mom is a producer. She's producing plays now.
Wow.
So she's like, learn all of this so you can make a film out of my plays. But longer story short, like I ended up having some really healing conversations with a lot of my family because those emotions came up. And now the number one thing I think we all need is believing in yourself, even if you think you suck. Like, do it anyway.
But and that's the thing. No one really sucks.
You don't.
I mean, like that is something that I have found with Rutherford County. I don't know if they're taught this in school or what, but boy, I get a lot of students who come into this program and think they suck. And everybody has gifts. Everybody has talents. If you haven't found yours yet, you just got to keep looking because it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I really think that it's the fact that TV has been put up on such a place, like a pedestal, right? And on that pedestal, we are all taught that, oh, you can't do that, but you can.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Like, no matter where TV is going, you can do it.
Yeah.
Do you have
TV,
any?
film, there's no reason why we can't have the next Steven Spielberg as a graduate of our program. That's a challenge to all you guys there.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, we thank you all for your time, for listening to this. Wherever this video go, we thank you for listening and tuning in. Till next